Trump finally moves embassy, all three presidents who promised to have something to say about it. By the conservative Jew for RWNofficial.com. Doesn't it just bring a tear to your eye when you see that finally we on the right have a president who keeps his promises? Although most presidents we have seen during our lifetime have promised to do what's right and recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. President Donald Trump did, and today our new embassy in the capital city of Jerusalem is now officially open for business. Here is more on this via Reuters. The crowd sported branded baseball caps, and Israel's prime minister wore red, white, and blue as the United States opened its embassy in Jerusalem on Monday, delighting Israelis and deepening Palestinian anger. Our greatest hope is for peace, U.S. President Donald Trump said in a recorded video message, even as a spokesman for the Palestinian president accused him of showing instability by overturning decades of U.S. policy on the status of the city. The inauguration of the embassy after Trump outraged the Arab world and stoked international concern by recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital in December was hailed by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as a glorious day. Trump opted not to attend the ceremony in which a U.S. consular building was repurposed into an embassy pending the construction of a new facility probably years away. His daughter Ivanka and son-in-law Jared Kushner, both White House advisors, were there seated next to Netanyahu opposite a stage with a backdrop of U.S. and Israeli flags. Two American pastors and a rabbi gave invocations. Kushner, in a rare public speech, said the relocation from Tel Aviv, a diplomatically and politically sensitive step promised but never implemented by a succession of U.S. presidents, showed that Trump was a man of his word. The comments were telling. Just a week after Trump announced Washington's withdrawal from the nuclear deal between Iran and world powers, a move that critics said weakened global trust in the United States. When President Trump makes a promise, he keeps it, Kushner said, a reference to a campaign pledge to open a Jerusalem embassy. Today also demonstrates American leadership. By moving our embassy to Jerusalem, we have shown the world once again that the United States can be trusted. Palestinians with broad international backing seek East Jerusalem as the capital of a state they want to establish in the occupied West Bank and the Gaza Strip. Israel regards all of the city, including the eastern sector it captured in the 1967 Middle East War and annexed as its eternal and indivisible capital. The Trump administration has avoided that description and noted that the city's final borders should be decided by the parties. The crowd, many wearing the caps marked U.S. Embassy, Jerusalem, Israel, rose for numerous standing ovations. Attendants handed out pretzels and mineral water. A smiling Netanyahu decked out in U.S. colors, a blue suit, white shirt, and red tie, showed praise on Trump, a president with whom he is in lockstep on many regional issues. Thanking Trump for having the courage to move the embassy, Netanyahu said, "This is a great day for Jerusalem, a great day for the state of Israel, a day that will be engraved in our national memory for generations." Split screens on Israeli television stations showed a more complex story. As coverage of the embassy ceremony ran on one side of the screen, the other broadcast the violence along Israel's border with Gaza, where dozens of Palestinian protesters were by the armed guards. Amid expressions of international concern and condemnation over the use of live ammunition, Israel said it was taking the necessary measures to prevent any breach of its border fence with the enclave run by the militant Hamas movement. Kushner echoing the Netanyahu government's position that the 6 weeks of Gaza protests were being orchestrated by Hamas Islamists opposed to Israel's existence, said. Even today, those provoking violence are part of the problem and not part of the solution. As you can see, this is a proud day for the U.S. and Israel. The U.S. Embassy in Israel is finally in its rightful place, and the world can see the U.S. is clearly behind the state of Israel. Unlike the days of former President Barack Hussein Obama, who had obvious disdain for the Jewish state. Jeff B., I grudgingly hand it to Trump. Never in 100 years did I think the U.S.-Israeli embassy would actually be moved to Jerusalem per his campaign promise, but by gum, he went and did it and demonstrated how pointless the long-standing refusal to acknowledge reality on the ground there was. Vice President Mike Pence, Jerusalem is Israel's capital. By finally recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital, the United States has chosen fact over fiction, and fact is the only true foundation for just and lasting peace. And even Chuck Schumer was on hand to congratulate the move. Now there's a surprise, because no Democrat attended the ceremony. Schumer, in a long overdue move, we have moved our embassy to Jerusalem. Every nation should have the right to choose its capital. I sponsored legislation to do this 2 decades ago, and I applaud President Trump for doing it. Well, that's a big surprise. This move was indeed a long time coming. We should have done this after Yasser Arafat's launch of the intifadas, okay? But let's be honest with ourselves. Until President Trump came along, we suffered under presidents who have been anti-Semitic or just too plain weak to actually do what's right for both the U.S. and Israel, who is our staunchest ally. They have to be if they stuck by our side during what I call America's greatest mistake after Jimmy Carter, Barack Hussein Obama, and his merry band of anti-Israeli political hacks. But today we have a new embassy in Jerusalem, and if prophecy serves right, the U.S. and President Trump are in for one hell of a blessing. For he who does the right thing for Israel and her people will be blessed. Those aren't just words. What other explanation can there be for a tiny nation to still be standing tall and proud when she has been surrounded by enemies and a pro-Muslim UN for the past 70 years? Wow. Watch former presidents Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Barack Obama speak about Jerusalem being the capital of Israel. They didn't fulfill their promise, so Trump did it for them. This is copyrighted because I had done a video on that, so we can't play that. But we got the gist. When President Donald Trump announced that it is time to officially recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, he fulfilled another campaign promise in addition to those that go back 25 years. So they're all losers, and they proved that they're losers. And Trump said it while he was running, that we're not going to show that because I don't have any idea. I don't want the fighting on the, But the thing is that Trump ran on that. He said he was going to do that. So he's keeping his promises, and in a very short amount of time, actually. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.